We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
It's 9:06, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. And boy, do we have a show for you today. Got like a Charlie's Angels lineup coming.
It's a stacked day.
Smart, strong women that are going to break a bunch of stuff down for us. 9:35, we have the chairman of the Sumner County Library Board, Joanna Daniels, is going to be in studio talking about why on earth Sumner County, for the life of them, can't seem to get transgender-themed books out of the library. I'm sorry. I thought this was 2025, and I thought that we were all in agreement that pushing gender ideology on young kids was a bad idea. I'm sorry. I thought this was a conservative state. I thought we had a Republican majority around here. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in detail with Joanna when she gets in here right around 9:35. Also, Monica Page is going to be joining us live from the White House North Lawn at 10:05. Lots happening in D.C. this week. Monica is going to break it all down for us. Plus, we have Sarah Siegand from Parents Who Fight. Sarah is a fantastic resource for every parent out there on how to keep your kids safe online. Grandparents, too. I know that, again, in the year of our Lord, 2025, there is a lot of grandparents raising grandkids. And God bless you guys who do it. Those kids are so grateful and lucky to have you in their lives. However, there is a generational gap. And if you're not paying attention and you're not hip to the game, some of this stuff can slide right by you and you miss it. And the controversy that's happening with Roblox deserves to be highlighted, and you need to know about it. We're going to break all that down with Sarah Siegand from Parents Who Fight at 10:35. Plus, talk about, in general, what are some best practices to keep your kids safe online from child sex predators? This is a big conversation that needs to be had. We're getting into the school year. There's going to be a lot of outside influences, right? There's going to be other kids suggesting other apps. What's okay? What's not? This is an important conversation to have. We are grateful to Parents Who Fight for the job that they do, and we're grateful to Sarah for joining us at 10:35. Also happening today, the big meeting with Russia. United States is rolling deep. As far as I know, the delegation for the United States heading into this summit is going to be J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Scott Bessent, and Steve Witkoff. This is the All-Stars. You know what I mean? That's who they're rolling with. They're rolling with the All-Stars. President Trump was discussing his meeting with Vladimir Putin this morning. The Russian plane has officially landed in Alaska for what people are describing as the Anchorage Accords. And a lot of people are very hopeful for what President Trump can get done. We heard yesterday that Zelensky would be in the meeting, at least one of the meetings. He said that while sitting inside the Oval Office yesterday. This was President Trump talking about the meeting with Putin and possibly Zelensky joining.
We have a meeting with President Putin tomorrow. I think it's going to be a good meeting, but the more important meeting will be the second meeting that we're having. We're going to have a meeting with President Putin, President Zelensky, myself, and maybe we'll bring some of the European leaders along, maybe not. I don't know that it's going to be very important. We're going to see what happens. And I think President Putin will make peace. I think President Zelensky will make peace. We'll see if they can get along. And if they can, it'll be great. You know, I've solved 6 wars in the last 6 months, a little more than 6 months now, and I'm very proud of it. I thought the easiest one would be this one. It's actually the most difficult we have.
So we'll see what happens today. President there said 6 and 6. We're actually up to 7 and 7. Forgive him. Forgive him. He's ending so many wars, hard to keep track. What do we know about the Anchorage Accords so far? Post Millennial had a great write-up on this. It was, who wrote this? Hannah Nightingale wrote this. President Donald Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin meeting in Anchorage, Alaska today at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson to discuss a potential end to the Ukraine-Russia war that's been going on since 2022. The location, which lies on the northern end of the city, met the security requirements for such a meeting of international leaders, per CNN. Trump is expected to spend at least part of the meeting with Putin in a one-on-one, the White House said. Yuri Yushakov, Putin's aide, said the one-on-one talks would begin about 11:30 a.m. local time. That's 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central, with a joint news conference following, per NBC News. So keep your eyes on Murphy's show this afternoon. That is going to be very busy and very full. And I know Matt Murphy is going to be there with the latest, breaking all of the discussions down. Plus, I can imagine, should this newscast go live, this joint news conference, Murphy is going to have it for us as well. Those in the Russian delegation will include Putin, Yushakov, Defense Minister Andrei Belosov, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, and Finance Minister Anton Silyanov, and Investment Envoy Kirill Dmitriev. I think I did a pretty good job with those names. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, as far as reading names from other languages go, I think that's the best I've ever done. Jack Posobiec on Twitter. The Russian government has noted that the Anchorage Accords will take place near the graves of Soviet pilots who died in the Lend-Lease program, flying planes from Alaska to Siberia. Trump told reporters, we have a big meeting. It's going to be, I think, very important for Russia, and it's going to be very important for us, and important for us only in a way that we're going to save a lot of lives. That's what this is really about, ending the meat grinder in Eastern Europe, because that's what it's turned into. How long has this war been at a standstill? President Trump is tired of the death and the destruction, and he's the only guy that could do this. He's got the Russian president in Alaska today. Again, all of the latest updates will be here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Make no mistake about it. I was talking with Mandis briefly. He might, depending on what happens today, he might be going live for a special edition of Red Eye Radio from midnight to 5 a.m. Should that happen, Dan's going to announce it on all of his social media networks, at Dan Mandis Show. Make sure you follow him and stay tuned for updates on that. And should we get the word, we'll announce it here on air if we get it before we end our broadcast day, before we hear from the night guy. So, lots of stuff going on. This morning, President Trump on Air Force One. If you're watching on the stream, we only got audio on this. POTUS on the possibility of territory swaps with Ukraine.
Are the territorial swaps on the table? Will you be discussing that?
They'll be discussed, but I've got to let Ukraine make that decision. And I think they'll make a proper decision. But I'm not here to negotiate for Ukraine. I'm here to get them at a table. And I think you have two sides. Look, Vladimir Putin wanted to take all of Ukraine. If I wasn't president, he would right now be taking all of Ukraine. But he's not going to do it.
Are the territorial...
If I wasn't president, he'd be taking all of Ukraine. He's not going to do it. Are there going to be territorial swaps? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. We're all going to find out together. There is definitely going to be some of Ukraine that becomes Russia, right? I think that's we've all decided that that's pretty much how it's going to go down. It's going to be a hard sell to get Putin to give back any of that territory. Hillary Clinton was on, gave a statement on all this, and the way Charlie Kirk put it, she New York Post reported this statement that she made, and Charlie Kirk tweeted about it. She essentially is setting the parameters on how a successful negotiation looks before they've even started. This is how Charlie put it. Look at Hillary trying to set the terms of a successful negotiation before they've even started. She will never be president, and thank God for that. And he quote tweeted this post from Benny Johnson. Breaking, Hillary Clinton openly admits she would nominate President Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize if he ends the war in Ukraine. Here's the quote. Honestly, if he could bring about the end to this terrible war, if he could end it without putting Ukraine in a position where it had to concede its territory to the aggressor, could really stand up to Putin, something we haven't seen, but maybe this is the opportunity. If President Trump were the architect of that, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize. Charlie Kirk's right. She's trying to set the parameters of a successful negotiation before the talks have even started. It's a bit of a mess. Ma'am, nobody cares what you think. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Trump was asked about security guarantees. Is Ukraine going to be admitted into NATO? I think that's what a lot of people are curious about. I don't think that that's going to happen. But this is President Trump on what security guarantees look like for Ukraine.
Possibility of the United States providing security guarantees to Ukraine.
Maybe, along with Europe and other countries. Not in the form of NATO, because that's not going to, there are certain things that aren't going to happen. But, along with Europe, there's a possibility of that.
Security guarantees? Maybe. Are we going to let Ukraine into NATO? Nope. Good. Listen, nobody wants Ukraine in NATO. That's a mess. That's going to open up a whole nother can of worms. Let's see what happens today. I'm very excited. I'm very hopeful. I am. If anybody can do this, it's President Trump. And I think that we also have to understand how big of a victory it is that he's even getting Vladimir Putin to come to Alaska to discuss this. How big of a deal it is that he's gotten Putin to agree to a sit down with Zelensky. Whether it happens or not, right? Whether the peace goes through or it doesn't. How can you argue that President Trump isn't doing this with the best intentions? He is. He just wants the killing to stop. That's all he wants. And he made that point on Air Force One, en route to Alaska. He said, listen, he's not doing this for his health. This is his exact words. I'm not doing this for my health. He said, I'm only doing this because we want to save a lot of lives. This is President Trump this morning on Air Force One.
You had said earlier this week that Putin would face severe consequences if you get the sense from him that he's not interested. What do you mean by that?
Economically severe. Yes, it will be very severe. I'm not doing this for my health, okay? I don't need it. I'd like to focus on our country, but I'm doing this to save a lot of lives. Yeah, very.
Yeah, and for that, we thank you. I would like President Trump to have his full attention here. Let's get this war ended. Let's get back to peace around the globe, and then we can focus on prosperity. This is a big deal. If President Putin doesn't want to jump in and play ball, President Trump says that there's going to be consequences, severe consequences, and we'll see what those look like. Let's cross that bridge when we get there. But as of today, there's a real chance for peace. Potential. There's potential for peace today. And that's pretty cool. This wouldn't have happened with Joe Biden. It wouldn't have happened with Kamala Harris. This would only happen with the president of peace, 45-47. I'm excited. What do you guys think? What do you feel is going to happen today? 615-737-9986. You can call in, let your opinion be known, or you can shoot us a text. Are you confident that there could be peace? Do you think that there's absolutely no chance whatsoever? 615-737-9986. We'll see what happens. 8602 on the text line says he needs to walk on water if he wants that peace prize. Yeah, that's probably, yeah. That's probably true. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I'm hopeful, and we'll see what goes on. This is the best chance that we've had. to ending the conflict. We haven't had an opportunity like this in front of us before, and who knows if we're going to have an opportunity like this in front of us again. Pray for peace, pray for the president, pray for his team on the ground, and we'll provide you with updates here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN all day long. Speaking of which, the big show is going to continue. 9:35, Sumner County Library Chairman Joanna Daniels is joining us. Why on earth are you guys so based that it's not chairperson, but not based enough to remove the transgender-themed books from your libraries? It's a question I'm going to ask. We're going to get into that. 9:35. 10:05. We're going to be joined live from the White House North Lawn. White House reporter Monica Page joining the show, breaking down all the happenings at the White House this past week. And then at 10:35, Sarah Segan from Parents Who Fight discussing the Roblox controversy that isn't going anywhere. A lot to get to. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit like, you hit subscribe, you share the show with your friends. We appreciate it when you do so. Got a lot of kids that I need to feed. Can't do it without those likes. Thank you in advance. Thank you for your attention to this matter. It's 9:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Now, before you ask, I definitely voted for this.
They don't take Reese's or food stamps no more, no candy. So they went live when they said they're gonna take out all the snacks. They're taking away all the snacks on EBT. What's the point of having them?
God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds.
Go on, get your butt to work if you want to get some fudge rounds. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
The Reese, they didn't take the Reese off. Food stamps is right now.
headstones toppled and broken and a cleanup underway in Murfreesboro. How you can help out. Police are searching also for a Hendersonville man for what he did inside of a Target store. That and more coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So I'm doing some show prep last night, and I see this story. In a packed room filled with familiar faces and firm opinions, the Sumner County Library Board once again faced off over whether books containing transgender or gender-confusing content should remain in elementary school libraries. Are we still doing this? I guess we're still doing this. Joining us to talk about it is Sumner County Library Board Chairman Joanna Daniels. Welcome to the show, Joanna. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So how is it that Sumner County is so based that they're going to refer to you as the chairman, not the chairperson, but they can't get rid of transgender-themed books in the libraries for elementary school kids?
So, what's funny is that there was actually a library board member that wanted to have it chairperson.
Oh, my gosh. Don't tell me that.
Yes. And we voted against it, and I was like, that's ridiculous. There's a lot going on in Sumner County, and it definitely surprises me that we can't get rid of these transgender books in the public libraries for children, for anybody. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes in Sumner County, and it's really sad.
So you had this big meeting, and there's a vote. How does this? We're a super conservative state. Everything's red. Why is it that we can't remove books that are indoctrinating our youth to leftist ideology?
Well, I think we know by now that just because someone says they're a Republican or they're red or conservative doesn't necessarily mean that that's actually what they do. And in Sumner County, you would think, because everyone says that they're a conservative or a Republican,
right,
and that this would be an easy thing. But what I've found, since moving here from California in 2018, is that just because someone says they're a Republican, it doesn't mean that at all. And I've found that being on the library board the last 2.5 years, that a lot of conservatives aren't necessarily conservatives.
Has that been eye-opening for you since you moved from California?
It is, because in California, you knew who your quote-unquote enemy was. Here, people say they're a Christian, people say they're conservative, bring out the Bible and the Constitution, and then everything that they say after that does not align up with the Bible or the Constitution.
It's insane what you're going through at Sumner County. Joanna Daniels is the chairman of the library board for Sumner County. She's going to be sticking around with us all next segment to break down the controversy. Why on earth are we still forcing transgender-themed books, gender-confusing books, down the throats of elementary school students in the great state of Tennessee? Joanna, thank you for being here. We're looking forward to the breakdown. Right now, though, we got the headlines from Joan Jones. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, President Trump is heading to the military base in Anchorage, Alaska for his summit with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy with a preview of that meetup.
The president is expected to hold a news conference at the conclusion of the summit. He says if the meeting goes well, it'll be a joint news conference with Vladimir Putin by his side. But if it goes poorly, and he says there's a 25% chance that it will, he'll hold his own news conference and then head back here to Washington. Trump has aired the hope that a second meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky could be hastily arranged, maybe even right there in Alaska. But that's only if things work out between him and Putin later today.
And we've got our eye on that. Police in Murfreesboro investigating vandalism at a historic cemetery. 9 gravestones at the Lytle Cemetery knocked over and broken into pieces. It's the resting place of Revolutionary War heroes. Robert Bolliard is the chapter president of the Stones River Sons of the American Revolution. And he spoke to Channel 4 about Captain William Lytle, whom that cemetery is named after.
Especially with a patriot, and especially when we're getting ready to honor America 250th, that something like this will happen. But we're determined we're going to make it right, get it right, and be ready to celebrate his life, his accomplishments, and everything that all of our patriots did.
Now, it's going to cost about $50,000 to replace and maintain the damaged graves. You can help. There is a GoFundMe established. Just search Lytle Cemetery, spelled Lytle. Police are searching for a man from Hendersonville after he was spotted in a store taking photos of a 12-year-old girl yesterday. 45-year-old Kevin Jackson was reportedly seen at the Target in Franklin, squatting down, pointing his phone at the girl. A warrant's been issued for his arrest on a charge of unlawful photography. Crime Stoppers is offering a $1,000 reward. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Glock store. And if you want your Glock to shoot flatter with less recoil, welcome to the club. But you got to talk to the guys at the Glock store. C-cuts are the answer to your prayers. C-cuts is short for compensator cuts. These are precision slots in your barrel and slide that push the blast upward, which is going to cut that muzzle flip and let you get back on target fast. Now, these used to only be on the high-end Gen 3 compensated Glocks, but now the Glock store can do it for basically the Glock you have in 10 days or less. Now, don't take my word for it. You can actually try this before you buy this. For just $6.99, you can shoot a C-cut Glock 17, 19, or my favorite, the 43X. Now, bring your Glock down to the Glock store or just the barrel and slide and start those 10 days today. That's the Glock store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. It's my place to train. It should be yours as well. And they're always open online, glockstore.com. So Trump announced today he's federalizing D.C. police to put an end to violent crime in Washington, D.C. Naturally, leftists are losing their mind and completely unhinged.
We believe there is a better way to protect us all. One that respects rights to build trust and keep our communities truly safe, and that is fascism-free.
Free of what?
That is fascism-free.
Fascism-free? Fascism-free. Oh, okay, hang on one second. Hey, Brooks, come here. F-A-S-C-I-S-M.
Fascism?
Correct, fascism. I didn't mean to turn this into an ad for homeschooling versus public schooling, yet here we are.
Maybe she should have proofread that.
937, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. Why would we need those, Mason? Do you know?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
It's a reason. BetterWater.com. We're joined in studio. I like to do that when we have guests, but to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable or make you laugh. We're joined in studio by Sumner County Library Board Chairman, not chairperson, not chairwoman, chairman, Joanna Daniels. Hello, Joanna. How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you today?
I'm good. All right. So we briefly touched on the story a little bit before we got in to this segment, but I think it's important. Introduce yourself. Who is Joanna Daniels? Why are you so passionate about what's happening in these libraries in Tennessee? Where did you come from? What's your story?
Sure. Joanna Daniels, chairman of the library board of Sumner County. I moved here from San Diego in 2018 and actually came here to be absolutely not involved in politics at all. I was very much in politics in California, but then COVID hit, and myself and about 4 other people started an organization called Free Tennessee. We were actually the first people to have the rallies for opening up Tennessee.
No kidding.
Yes.
That's
so
awesome.
we organized 4 rallies across Tennessee in April of 2020. And we had the first medical freedom rallies at the Capitol.
Let's go.
So so then all of a sudden, God just said, guess what? You're going back into politics. And I was like, okay, here we go. And then I started a Safeguard Our Schools group and did a huge event in 2021 exposing what's going on in the schools of Sumner County and the curriculum, the wit and wisdom and everything. And then helped to get a bunch of people elected to the county commission in Sumner County. And then I was approached by Commissioner Matt Schoaf to be on the library board.
Okay.
And I said, let's do it. So that's how I got there, and it's all God, because I knew nobody when I moved here, and now I know everybody.
Everybody.
Yes.
And a lot of people speak very, very highly of you. You're a warrior for our kids. But if you're not paying attention, you don't realize what's happening in these schools in Tennessee.
Yes, and the public library board, we control the public libraries. So there's 5 libraries that we control, and that's Westmoreland, Portland, Millersville, Gallatin, and Hendersonville. So we are the governing body over those 5 libraries, and those are the public libraries. And we actually work in tandem a lot with the schools. And a lot of people don't know that. In one of the collection and development policy, it actually says that we support the curriculum of the schools. And so, and also what a lot of people don't know is that as a board, we are not an advisory committee. We actually are we get the governing body. We get our power from the state. So the buck stops with us when it comes to anything with the public libraries.
So why is it that these books that promote transgender ideology, gender confusion for elementary school kids are still on the shelves in Sumner County schools?
So if you don't mind, I'd like to go back to the beginning of why this is happening.
Please.
So in 2022, I got put on the library board along with Debbie Martin and Beverly Hyde. Beverly Hyde is the wife of Chairman Commissioner Hyde. So we all got put on the library board. We went through the committee on committee, the whole procedure, got voted on there. And then Kirk Cameron happened in Sumner County.
He's a beast.
It was, and I was one of the people that voted to fire the director that did that. Beverly Hyde actually voted against firing him. And I think a lot of things started happening, some division started happening. Then in 2023, by the state, we were told to create a policy for sexually explicit materials, as there was a law had been passed.
Yep.
And so,
I think there's laws on the books already about obscene material as well.
Correct. And so as a board, if we wanted to continue to get funding from the state, we had to work that into our collection and development policy. So, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of laws and bills in Tennessee are very vague. I mean, basically, you can drive a semi through some of the loopholes.
Some would say intentionally.
I don't, maybe. So, the word inappropriate is so subjective. So what I decided in the policy was to literally write down what was sexually explicit.
Good.
And I gave a good outline.
I'm sure.
Okay. Well, in a meeting that was actually on my birthday in 2023, Beverly Hyde was so appalled by my policy because I literally described what was sexually explicit that almost like she was clutching her pearls, she resigned from the board.
I mean, you see this so often. I'm friends with Pastor John Machukwu, and he goes around to school board meetings, and he'll read what is in the library, and the school board will say, sir, please, this is just far too obscene for you to be reading here in this public setting. And he goes, then why is it okay to have it in our library? So when people are offended by the policy that you're writing, do you have that same thought? Like if my outline offends you, what do you have to say about the books that you're allowing these kids to read?
Absolutely. And that was my one of my arguments was if you think this is bad, and actually Anita Lamberth from Portland, the director, said, Joanna, if you think what this is in your policy is bad, you should see some of the stuff that's in the books. And I said, well, that's why we're putting it in the policy, that so you guys have a clear guideline of what we feel is inappropriate.
Yeah.
And so, and on public record, some of the library directors said, oh, we don't have any of the stuff in our libraries. You absolutely do. And so, well, what happened after that, after the resignation, was Chairman Hyde, which was the husband of Beverly Hyde. Well, I'm just going to say, I think he developed a personal vendetta, unfortunately, because at the next committee on committee meeting, Commissioner Mansfield brought about a secret letter that Commissioner Hyde had sent to those board members via snail mail out of the public eye, saying that he wanted them to put Commissioner Shannon Bergdorf on the library board. Now, that's out of the blue. Now, one thing I want to preface this is that I was friends with Merrill Hyde, Commissioner Merrill Hyde, Shannon Bergdorf, Daryl Rogers, Terry Boyd, Don Schmidt, Matt Schoaf, all these commissioners. They all supported me.
Yep.
I was all friends with them before this sexually explicit materials policy came in place.
So you have to ask yourself, why do they want these books in the library? Are they avoiding the topic? Do they want to make it seem like everything's good and fine and rosy, or are they intentionally okay with these books being presented to minors?
Well, and that's what blows my mind. So because they'll say no, they don't want it, and they say, well, it needs to be just don't put it where minors can get it. Well, minors can get these books if they're in the library.
Yeah.
So even in my policy, I say, hey, if you do have these, they have to be in the adult section at a height that minors can't get and under the supervision of employees. And do you know that at that meeting, we had then Director Lauren from Westmoreland get up and publicly oppose this policy. And then after the policy passed for the sexually explicit materials, 4 of the directors literally just went against our policy. And it was ridiculous. And so Commissioner Matt Schoaf told me that the reason why he supported Commissioner Bergdorf to be on the library board was to rival me because he did not support the policy that I put in for sexually explicit materials because he felt it was too abrasive. And
so by saying that he doesn't support what you're doing, what he's really saying is I support transgender ideology books for young kids.
Well, and that was the sexually explicit materials. Now I'm moving forward into that, because I wanted to give you the background. So since then, there's been the reason why I can't get this policy passed is because Commissioner Bergdorf has basically cherry-picked 3 library board members, and there's a whole process for getting people on the board. You have to go through a committee on committee, then those names get pushed forward towards the commission. And now, mind you, Merrill Hyde is the one, this personal vendetta, because his wife, resigned, put Shannon Bergdorf on. Every name that has come before conservatives that would have supported this policy against transgender, such as Eric Stockton and Mike Ray, they publicly said, I would support this policy. They got over 400 emails outpouring of support. The commissioners voted against them, but instead put in 3 people that Shannon Bergdorf nominated from the floor of the commission, did not go through the procedure. And Merrill Hyde supported all 3 of these people. And now I can't pass this policy.
So you pissed off the good old boys club.
I did.
And when you piss off the good old boys club, you can't get anything done, even if it's a positive thing for our kids.
That's exactly what is happening up in Sumner County.
So it's personal feelings over what's right for the kids.
That exactly. It is a personal vendetta. I upset the prom king and queen of Sumner County. Okay, I'm just going to say that. Okay, and now that I did that, the good old boys, which again, Commissioner Darrell Rogers, Commissioner Terry Boyd, Commissioner Matt Shove, Commissioner Don Schmidt, Commissioner Shannon Bergdorf, all people that supported me. They actually came to my events for the Safeguard Our Schools and about getting stuff out of the schools. But now, since this whole personal vendetta started, they now vote against everybody that's conservative that would have actually supported this transgender policy.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So what can we do to help you raise awareness about this, make some noise, get loud? What's the call to action? Like, what can this audience do to support you? Because personal politics aside, we need to do what's right for the kids.
Absolutely. We had a meeting Wednesday night. What is today? Friday.
Yeah.
And, I have been speaking with pastors of Sumner County. I've been in contact with them for over 2 years. And, they're saying, Joanna, we love what you do. We love what you do. Yet they don't show up. They're not telling their congregation to come to these meetings. I don't see any. We had almost 65 people at the first meeting on this transgender policy. We had 3 Christian conservatives show up. All the rest of them were the crazy liberals that tout that they're Christians and want this. On our second meeting, we had I think 8 Christian conservatives. There was still 50 on the other side. And this past one we just had, I brought this back 3 times, okay? And at this last meeting, we had 1 person speak in support of this. Where is everybody?
Yeah, well, you would understand that the people in the county want these books out of the library.
I hear it constantly. I have people come up to me. I have people call me. I have people email me saying, Joanna, I want these out. I have people that said, I will not go to the Portland Public Library anymore because I'm scared of what my child will pick up.
It's insane.
And so I've been saying, where are the pastors?
Right.
And then also, it's coming up on primaries, right? For next year. And what's crazy is that, Commissioner Bergdorf, who's the one that has cherry-picked these other 3, library board members, she abstains every single time on this vote. Now, when you abstain, in my opinion, with Robert's rules and everything, the only reason you should really abstain is if you have a personal conflict,
right,
such as, someone's getting a raise or something like that.
The personal conflict is you.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the personal conflict is me, or else otherwise it's really a cowardly way to vote. You either say yes or no.
I mean, essentially, get the personal feelings out of the way, do what's right by the kids, and let's move on and be adults.
Exactly. And what's really sad is that not only are they holding the personal feelings against me for this transgender, it's not protecting the children, but we had 2 viable directors because we need a director for Hendersonville and a director for Westmoreland. We had 2 amazing, beautiful women that were supported by the friends of the library, supported by the community, and because of their personal dealings with me, Neither of those women that have, one has had 33 years of experience in the government. The other one has been a teacher. They have roots in the community. But because they don't have experience in the library, they didn't get voted in as a library director. Well, the state doesn't demand that you have to have any experience in the library. And honestly, to tell you the truth, most librarians that get a degree in library science have been educated by the American Library Association. So in 2023, when we wrote the job descriptions for the library director of Sumner County, we took that out intentionally because we want people that care about the community.
Amen.
Not that have been educated by the American Library Association.
So what are the next steps? Do we have another meeting on the docket to try and do this again?
Unfortunately, we had a meeting. I tried to get a meeting in September. The board voted to not have a meeting in September. So our next meeting is going to be October.
Okay.
It would be the second Wednesday in October.
Will you come back before that meeting so that way we can rally the troops and get that room full of conservative Christians?
I would love to.
Perfect. Joanna Daniels, she is the chairman of the library board in Sumner County. I appreciate you. I appreciate your voice and your strength. And your willingness to put yourself in the line of fire for these kids. We need more people like you, Joanna. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I so appreciate you having me here, and thank you for all that you are doing.
Absolutely. How can we keep up with you? Can we find you online anywhere? Are you on Twitter? Are you on any social media? Or
I am on social media. It is a private page. But,
okay, perfect. That's fine. That's fine. Keep it private. I get it. There's a lot of lunatics out there. That's fine.
There is.
But we'll have you back come October, and we'll highlight the upcoming meeting.
But you can email me at joanna.daniels@sumnercountytn.gov.
Joanna.daniels@sumnercountytn.gov.
Yep.
Joanna Daniels, she's one of the good ones. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much. It's 9:54. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
This is where he talks about you.
Talks about me?
Yeah. Aside from hand, most of you are clearly intelligent, based in the real world type of people. He seems to be longing for a handmaiden type society. I predict he will be an extreme short timer.
Weird.
Odd. What are you at now? A couple years?
Yeah.
Again, didn't age well.
I love how he said, you guys are smart aside from hand.
I know.
That's my favorite part.
Good morning. It's now 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Heads up, drivers. I-840 westbound in Fairview between Pinewood Road and Fairview Centerville. That is closed due to a serious crash. Again, that's Fairview I-840 westbound between exit 14 and 7, all shut down at the moment. The nation's capital now has 2 police chiefs. ABC's Danny New explains.
A major development overnight concerning the federal takeover of the Washington, D.C. police force. Attorney General Pam Bondi has named an emergency police commissioner. Bondi says she's given the head of the Drug Enforcement Administration all the powers of the police chief, but D.C.'s mayor and D.C.'s attorney general claim Bondi's order is unlawful and beyond federal authority.
And in fact, they have issued a federal lawsuit against the Trump administration over it. Bondi also ended D.C.'s sanctuary city status. A lawsuit's been filed over the ICE operation in Nashville in May when roughly 200 people were arrested. The Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, or Turks as they call themselves, they claim the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security is violating their rights. Here's News 2's Haley Wagas.
Turk says that they have asked the State Highway Patrol for documents and body camera video from the operation. The lawsuit claims THP has either denied the documents exist, redacted unnecessary information, or simply denied the request.
The state has not responded to the lawsuit. Not an ICE raid, but a fugitive search in Memphis, and it went on for 2 weeks. In the end, WREG-TV says 141 people wanted for crimes were captured.
Marshals arrested more than 46 fugitives for homicides, sex crimes, and robberies, plus another 67 for aggravated assault. Dozens of those fugitives were either known or suspected gang members.
In at least one arrest, residents believe that it was an ICE raid, so they gathered outside the home to protest, tried forcing themselves into the home. Nobody was arrested. In Nashville, a locally based investment firm has purchased the scrapyard next to the Titans Stadium for $245 million. They want to turn it into what they call a vibrant and attractive downtown neighborhood. Here's Metro Council member Jacob Cupid on Channel 4.
This site will, to my understanding, need to be rezoned. And the way I handle rezonings across my district is bringing the community in, understanding what folks in the area feel is important, what they're looking for. And I find that that approach makes projects even better.
Right now, there's no timeline for when that project will be completed. And once again, I-840 westbound between exits 14 and 7. It is closed this morning due to a serious crash. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. If you're watching us on YouTube or Rumble, hit like and subscribe and get ready for our next guest. She's joining us beyond the fence, the White House North Lawn. Our White House reporter from Turning Point USA, Monica Page. Monica, how are you today?
Hi, Chris. Great to speak with you. It's hot out here, but
Is it?
you know, it's actually really quiet here at the White House. That's a very rare moment here,
Yes.
given the fact that it's always go, go, go. But we have time to breathe now, thankfully.
Is it weird having a quiet day at the White House?
It is. It's kind of desolate here. I think everybody's going to Alaska. Unfortunately, we didn't make the cut, but I'm okay with that because that's a long flight.
Yeah, how long is the flight to Alaska? I mean, I'm sure you game planned that out a little bit as this was all breaking down.
Yeah, I mean, I know people who are there right now. They had maybe a flight to Chicago or then Chicago to Alaska, or they have a flight to Seattle and then Seattle up to Anchorage. So there are many different ways you could fly in and out, but if you're facing delays, you're looking at like an 11-hour flight.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's
no
brutal.
thank you. That's a hard pass for me. Tell me about what the latest is on Russia and the Anchorage Accords, as they're being dubbed online by people like Jack Posobiec. What are you hearing?
Yeah, I love that, Anchorage Accords. That's pretty good. But I think this meeting is going to be one that could possibly go down in history as one of the most controversial, maybe one of the most successful meetings that any leader has possibly had with Russian President Vladimir Putin. I mean, he's expected to sit down this afternoon and bring a number of members of his team, like Marco Rubio and Scott Bessent, with him, because apparently Vladimir Putin is bringing quite a few people of his own. So this could also be a economic deal as well as a peace deal. I know that that's kind of how the president operates as far as getting peace deals done. We just saw that with Cambodia and Thailand. They said, I don't want to make a deal with you if you guys are going to keep killing each other.
Yep.
So this could look like a very similar instance. But the president essentially wants to sit down with Putin face to face, get a mood of just how Putin is feeling about everything. Much better than a phone call or a video call. You're actually getting to see him face to face and just say, hey, listen, this has got to stop. We got to make an end to this war. And this first meeting will hopefully lead to a second meeting. And the president has said that before. He said the second meeting is everything. If he can get this first one done, and as he said, there's a 25% chance that it might not go well. But if everything works out according to plan, this second meeting could have Zelensky involved too, as well as the president, or it could just be Putin and Zelensky sitting down face to face together. So there's a lot to expect here. A lot is going to be on the table, and I'm expecting this to go on for several hours. After this sit-down meeting together, I know the president is set on holding a presser with the audience, with the press, maybe with the public. It could be televised. And then he does plan on getting on a phone call with Zelensky to let him know how everything went, and also speak with EU leaders as well, because they've been very much involved with this war.
Yeah, and just a programming note, that press conference is about 3:30 Eastern. It's being reported, 2:30 Central. Yep. If they do go live, I'm sure that we'll be covering it here on Super Talk. Now, one question I do have for you is, did they bring a nice big red reset button? Because that's worked in the past.
Yeah, I mean, you can only hope, right? This war has gone on for far too long, and the president, I mean, if there's anybody who can get this done, it's President Trump. It is peace through strength. It is maybe escalate to de-escalate, as we've also seen in the Middle East. So the president has a lot of options here on the table of what he could take, and maybe a different kind of strategy he could take with Russia, Ukraine. But this has gone on for far too long. Too many people are getting killed, and the president has proven that, like, he doesn't care about maybe leaving early or coming back super early at 4:30 in the morning tomorrow morning. He cares about the killing to just stop. He doesn't want any more people dead. He just wants to get this over with. He doesn't want any more billions of dollars of our taxpayers' money going to this war, and he just wants the killing to stop. So he's a president of peace, and I'm hoping that this can get done.
Yeah, I'm with you and praying for that peace. You said something there that I hooked onto, was escalate to de-escalate. And it kind of brings us back to what we were talking about last week on Friday and what's been happening in D.C. this week. A lot of the left are calling it an escalation of military force on the streets, and Donald Trump is a dictator. Yet you hear from residents in D.C., and they're talking about the streets seem a lot safer. I saw a video of a woman saying it's so nice to be able to sit at a red light and not have to look out my windows, worried about the youth carjacking me. Have you noticed an improvement in safety on the streets of D.C. since the federalization?
Well, I will say that the streets definitely look a lot cleaner, a lot quieter. I actually kind of took a walk earlier this week, just trying to get a lay of the land and see exactly for myself if I could spot any sort of National Guard around here or any ICE vehicles. The National Mall was completely desolate. There was nobody out there. I went actually down to the Navy Yard, where that's faced a lot of crime, right down there by Nationals Park, where the Washington Nationals play. And it was really quiet. I didn't see any sort of funny business. I saw maybe one or two police cars, but it seems like it's working, which is great. And I don't want the public to kind of give in to what the mainstream media has been saying. This is not a takeover of the military on the streets. Like, they're trying to instill fear into the public. That's not exactly what's happening at all. If anything, they're trying to make things safer, which I don't understand why people would get so upset about. Especially when it comes to homeless, the left seems to be kind of upset about how this administration's handling the homeless crisis. I think it's great. I think it's, hey, listen, get into a shelter, go to rehab, a mental facility or a drug facility. Let's get you cleaned up. Let's get you, a functioning member of society. And for some reason, the left just hates that, which I don't understand. I think it's just, let's just oppose Trump because it's Donald Trump, not so much. Because they don't care about people. It's clear.
Yeah, I think you could make the argument that those NGOs that are handing out clean needles and crack pipes are making a lot of money, and they don't want that revenue stream to dry up. But I think what the president's doing with the homeless is you're forcing a bottom. We can't enable these people to live on the streets, and that's what the left has been doing for years and years and years. So Trump is forcing the bottom. If you want to go to rehab, we can make that happen for you. Otherwise, it's three hots in a cot.
Right. And I'm really hoping that other cities follow suit, because although the homelessness crisis in DC is bad, I have seen it way worse in cities like San Diego and New York City and Philadelphia, Kensington Avenue, Kensington Street over there. Oh my gosh, the videos that come out of there, I'm hoping that other cities are taking notes. And President Trump has been clear. He said, listen, if we have to go to other cities, then maybe we just have to, because these are people's livelihoods. Just think about the amount of small businesses that have to have been closed down because of crime, because of homelessness. It's not good for anybody, even our children and families. Who could even live in an area that has the amount of homelessness and crime and violence? It drives people away in droves, and I don't blame them. I'm hoping President Trump can really, I guess, show a sense of leadership for these other cities.
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed. Kensington in Philadelphia, it looks like an episode of The Walking Dead. And I remember what you said last week. I asked you, would you raise a family in D.C.? And it stuck with me all week. You went, absolutely not. But we see this all over the place. I mean, in Tennessee, we have crime issues in Nashville and in Memphis. And the left will say, well, the only place the murder rate is rising is in red states. It's like, okay, well, run the numbers again and remove Memphis and Nashville and tell me what you see. It's these Democrat-run cities. I would love to see this replicated. I think that we need to.
Absolutely. And I will also say this. I remember when I went to the Kamala Harris speech where she was dropping out of the race officially. She conceded to President Trump, and that was at Howard University. So I was covering for Turning Point. I wanted to go see for myself what the mood was like on the ground over there. And let me tell you, I would never set foot on U Street near Howard University ever again.
Really?
Even going there and leaving, oh my God, it's like you're stepping into a whole different world. It is disgusting. So I'm really hoping that area specifically, and that's where Kamala Harris went to college, Howard University. And of course she held it there, and it was disgusting. Listen, I'm really hoping that area gets cleaned up. I mean, there's a lot of areas, of course, throughout the country, and especially here in DC, but I wanted to point out that one in specific because, if you're going to be a politician going to these campuses or going someplace, you want to make sure it's nice and clean and welcoming for people that are going to go.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the reality of it.
Absolutely. And it's bad when your big takeaway wasn't how terrible Kamala's speech was, but how bad it was outside. Like, it's got to be really bad. We saw Chuck Schumer saying that he feels perfectly safe in D.C. He takes walks all the time. I made the point that, well, the average citizen in D.C. doesn't have the armed security that Chuck Schumer has. But what have you noticed from the reaction from the left on what the D.C. cleanup looks like?
Well, they keep saying it's some kind of overreach or overstep here. And of course, politicians, especially on the left, will say, oh, I love going for walks in the morning. Well, it's like, I've never seen you even take a step outside to go for a walk. And of course, we love Chuck Schumer. He's our favorite self-hating Jew on the Hill. But he's just so hypocritical with everything that he says and does. And that's the left for you. That's exactly what they try to do. They try to just say, oh, I'm able to do this. I don't know why President Trump is just making something up, that there's violence here. It's like, okay, let's take a look at the numbers. Since 2025, there's been over 100 homicides so far.
Jeez.
We have 4 times the homicide rate than Los Angeles, nearly 6 times in New York City. I mean, take a look at some of these numbers, and you're going to say these numbers are lying, but then you want to say that your numbers are right. So it's like, you'll never fully find out who's exactly right. But I'm trusting that these numbers are correct, because if you just look at what's happening, if you just look at the footage that you're seeing online, you can see for yourself that this city has not been safe. It hasn't been safe maybe since, 2020, everything really ramped up, right? So, we're hoping that we'll finally see a downtick. They keep saying it's a 30-year low or 30. That's not true. There was still 15,000 crimes committed last year. That's 1,000 less than 2023. Yep. It doesn't mean crime's not happening. So it's ridiculous.
And then you also have to factor in, are people just not calling the cops because these guys are getting out of jail in an hour and they're worried about retribution in these neighborhoods? Like that could be baked into the cake as well. But they'll say Trump is lying no matter what he says. Yesterday in the Oval Office, for months now, we've heard Trump saying illegal aliens are getting Social Security checks, and the left is saying, no, that's not happening. But yesterday in the Oval Office, he goes, we've removed 275,000 illegal aliens from Social Security. What is the reaction from the left when Donald Trump makes that announcement, where they've been proven to be lying once again?
Well, of course, you're going to get people on the left that's saying, oh, but illegal aliens should have access to these benefits. And, just because they're illegal doesn't mean they're not humans. And that's the kind of the rhetoric that you hear on the left. But this 90th anniversary celebration that the president held in the Oval Office yesterday is essentially trying to make Social Security easier, better, and faster for Americans, hardworking Americans.
Yep.
It's going to be cutting down wait times on the phone by 30%, cutting down call times on the phone by 80%, and doubling the amount of calls they take, allowing 24/7 access to their online accounts. This is massive. And the fact that they doged Social Security will be even better for the American people. I'm hoping that this will speed up the process and just kind of weed out people who should not be on there, who have been taking advantage of our system and getting away with it.
Amen.
Not only with Social Security, but Medicaid, Medicare, the president's just trying to make America for Americans. And if you want a slice of that, if you want to slice the American dream, then become an American citizen. It could be just that easy. You know what I mean?
So I game plan this out, especially for people in our age group. We're not sure if we're ever even going to get Social Security. So the lowest amount that someone can receive from Social Security is $50 per month. So if you game that out, you math that out for 275,000 illegal aliens, that would be $13.75 million per month, which equals $165 million per year. That's minimum savings. If you game that up and you do average, right, like the average amount people get, that's $1,976 a month, which is per person, which would be $543 million per month, which is over $6.5 billion per year.
That's outrageous.
The savings are insane, even on the minimum level or the average level. And I didn't even game plan out what the high side looks like. But we could all imagine that they're not getting the minimum, these illegal aliens. Monica Page is our White House reporter for Turning Point USA. She's joining us live from the White House North Lawn. What's a story with everything going on this week, with the D.C. federalization, with the Anchorage Accords, the Trump-Putin meeting? What's a story that the American people are missing that deserves a little bit more attention?
Well, of course, we saw just this past week, President Trump honoring 5 new honorees for the Kennedy Center. I thought that was really cool. It just really shows that the president has a very strong affinity for the arts. But I think a story that nobody's covering just happened on his way to Alaska, or just before he left to Alaska. He actually held a phone call with the president of Belarus, where he secured the release of 16 prisoners and is discussing the release of maybe 1,300 more prisoners in the near future. I believe these prisoners have been held in captivity just for purely political purposes since 2020, speaking out against their government. And the president held that phone call and said, hey, you got to start letting these people out. This is ridiculous because the treatment of these prisoners is not the best treatment. So the president held that phone call, and he's hoping to secure even more. And as we know, as I've reported previously, the president has secured the release of more than 70 American hostages in just 6 months of the presidency. That's a record number in 6 months. And not to say that these people are Americans per se in Belarus, but listen, if they're innocent people, they should be released. So the president's working very hard, clearly, overseas to make sure that he is not only the president of peace, but also a president that every American and everybody abroad can get behind as well.
Amen. Monica Page, she joins us live every Friday from the White House North Lawn, but she's reporting on the happenings at the White House every single day. She's one of the best reporters. Monica, where can we find you? Where can we follow you?
Thanks so much, Chris. You can follow me on Instagram at Monica Page TV and on X at Monica Page TV there as well. Thank you so much, Chris. I hope you have a great weekend.
Hey, you too. I appreciate you. That's Monica Page joining us live from the White House. It's 10:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Woo.
President Trump gives a nod to one of the demands from Ukraine as he prepares to meet with Russia's Vladimir Putin. And a fentanyl bust in Nashville, but it's where it happened that caused alarm. That and more coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. It is 10:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Shout out to all the ladies. We got some strong women joining the show today, man. Joanna Daniels, the chairman for the library board, Sumner County. Awesome guest. We had Monica Page on just a little while ago. She's awesome. Great reporter. Definitely worth a follow at Monica Page TV. And then coming up at 10:35, after the headlines with Joan Jones, we're going to have Sarah Segan joining us from Parents Who Fight. Parents Who Fight, they run a great program on teaching and equipping adults and parents and grandparents with the skills they need to keep their kids safe online. Underrated what they do. And we're going to talk about this controversy that has been brewing about Roblox. What is a Roblox? It's a gaming platform. It's not the game, right? Roblox is not the game. Roblox is the platform. It's the gateway to, how many games are on Roblox? Millions?
Any user can create their own game and upload it.
Any user. There's some really weird stuff on there. Now, every month, Roblox has 380 million users. This is massively popular. Vigilant Fox had a great breakdown on this controversy on X. I retweeted it. But you need to check out what's happening here. Some of these custom games that any user can create have become an absolute magnet for child predators. One example of that is a game called XYZ Public Bathroom Simulator. Now, to be fair, this game has since been pulled from Roblox in light of the recent controversy, but that doesn't mean that we should let up. It doesn't mean that we should let up at all. This is what Public Bathroom Simulator looks like if you're watching on the stream. It's just that. It's a public bathroom. And you're finding people in these games doing all sorts of bathroom things with minors in there. There's a user on Roblox. He goes by the name Real Schlep. And he's on X. And he has found and exposed a lot of this just disgusting behavior on Roblox. And what happened to him? Well, instead of being hailed as a hero by the Roblox platform, they have since banned his account for exposing what's happening on Roblox. And this is the kind of stuff that he's exposing.
There are games on Roblox like XYZ Public Bathroom Simulator. That's about 7 million visits, and the whole premise of the game is showering together with kids. That is the whole game. If you join it, you're going to see predators, you're going to see naked avatars, you're going to see people peeing and all this sort of weird stuff. If I was a parent and I saw that, I would be outraged. I would be totally outraged. And parents aren't aware of this, and it's so sad. I get emails from kids daily about all the horrible stuff that they're exposed to. I get emails from parents talking about what their kids were exposed to. And there are so many predators on this platform. It is actually unreal.
So many predators on this platform. It's unreal. Parents don't even know. And if they knew, they would be outraged. And I understand in our audience, we have a lot of grandparents who are absolute heroes stepping up and raising their grandkids. And if you blink, you'll miss what's happening right underneath your nose. So we're going to have an in-depth conversation with Sarah Segan from Parents Who Fight coming up after the headlines with Joan Jones, where we're going to dive into this Roblox controversy and have a general overview on which platforms are dangerous. What red flags do you need to worry about as a parent or a grandparent? And what warning signs do you need to look for? It's going to be a great conversation. It's going to be informative. You don't want to miss it. That happens next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And for the first time in over a decade, Vladimir Putin is stepping foot on U.S. soil as he meets with President Trump in Alaska. It's an effort to end the war in Ukraine. President Trump on board Air Force One saying that the U.S. may be prepared to provide security guarantees to Ukraine, but that we won't do it alone.
Not in the form of NATO, because that's not going to, there are certain things that aren't going to happen. But, along with Europe, there's a possibility of that.
Security guarantees high on Ukraine's wish list. Metro Nashville police report a man known to them as a high-level drug dealer has been arrested in possession of a bag full of fentanyl. News 2's Andy Corden tells us where Jordan Sandifer was arrested that's raising some alarms.
On the day of the raids, Sandifer is at a Nashville hospital for the birth of his child. Investigators tell me when he was arrested in the maternity ward, the 28-year-old had this large bag of fentanyl in his pocket.
Officers also searched 5 Nashville homes connected to Sandifer and seized 200 grams of fentanyl, 51 pounds of marijuana, 5 weapons, 3 of which were stolen, and $8,500 in cash. In-N-Out Burger news, the burger chain is planning to start hiring for its Lebanon location in September. They need 40 employees, and you can apply at inandout.com/employment. Interviews start in October. Retail sales rose 0.5% last month, pointing to a very healthy picture for the U.S. consumer. Also, a reading on manufacturing in New York was sharply higher than expected. That is the latest news. We've got weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at United Structural Systems. You know them as USS. I'll tell you right now, they are the best when it comes to waterproofing and foundation repair. If you need either of those done, do it with the guys who have done it for 30,000 homes across Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. Do it with the experts. Do it with the best. Do it with USS. Now, when it comes to these home repairs, well, a lot of times we pretend that we don't see the warning signs. It's just a little water in the basement. It's just some damp walls, and it'll dry. Sure, it'll go away. But when the rain comes back, so does the issue. And if you ignore that small problem, it's not going to get smaller. It's just going to get worse. And that water in your crawl space and in your basement could lead to mold. It could lead to wood rot, which leads to foundation issues. And it's going to get just crazier and crazier. Don't let it get worse. Call USS today. They're going to send an expert to your house, not a sales guy. They're going to send somebody worried about the waterproofing, not about their quota, and that's the key difference. Whether it's foundation repair or waterproofing, USS will stand behind their work with warranties you can trust. These guys are locally owned, 30 years in the game. There's nobody else to call but United Structural Systems. If you see the signs, don't wait. Call them today, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or find them online, USSTN.com. It's 1037, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Very excited about our next guest. I've been wanting to have you on for a minute as we start the new school year, Sarah. Sarah Segan joins us. She's from Parents Who Fight, parentswhofight.com. We're going to talk about what's going on with Roblox, but I think first, I'd love a little groundwork and backstory on what Parents Who Fight is and what you guys do.
Sure. So we are located here in the Nashville area, and for the last 10 years, we've been helping parents know how to better protect their kids online, which is quite a job. And we really focus on some of the technical solutions that are available to you and kind of helping you understand how technology is working against you and what you can do about it. So we love to help parents. Shoot us a message on our website. If you've got a school or a church you want us to come to help your community, we'd love to do that.
Yeah, and that's how I found out about you guys. You had come to my kid's school, and you just give a great presentation, and you really know what's going on in the online space and how to keep these kids safe. So you're a great resource, and I'm grateful for you joining the program. Sarah Segan with us.
Thank you.
What is happening with Roblox? And I think the question is, how long has this been happening? Because I don't think that this popped up overnight. The controversy has, but this seems like this has been bubbling under the surface for a while.
Oh, yeah. So Roblox has been around for quite a long time. I think 2006 maybe for, the actual original inception. But over the last 10 years, we've heard a lot of people talking about the dangers on Roblox. And I think during the pandemic, there was a lot more awareness of what's going on that platform. And so for any parent who's under a rock somewhere, this platform really prizes itself as one of the leaders in user-generated content. So that means they have like 118 million users, and any of those people can create games inside their platform. So there's like estimates of, 40 million experiences within Roblox. I've seen some as low as 8.
Now, this is a little different than a platform like Steam, right? Steam is like a video game marketplace. Am I right?
Correct. Roblox is one main store, if you will. So it's not a mall like Steam is, where you can have, multiple different brands and whatever. It's all Roblox, but these developers are brought on. Many of them are paid to be influencers. And so they are creating content for Roblox. And as you can imagine, these developers have any, number of moral compasses, from really good to really bad.
Yep.
And because there is so much content and it's so difficult to monitor, and there's, 40% of their users are under the age of 13, of course, it's a place where predators have learned how to network and gather and groom children.
Now, before we get into more of the nitty gritty on how they're doing that, I think the quick question is, should kids be on this platform, period?
My hearty answer is no. I think if you have a 16-year-old and they've had, lots of training on how to deal with things, block things, and they know how to kind of hold their own, okay, maybe then. But any parent who's come to me and said, my kid really wants to play Roblox with their neighbor friend, I'm like, no, it's not worth it. It's only going to create headaches for you. It's really complicated to manage. There are some parental controls. And for parents out there who are like, we're already in knee deep, just Google Bark Roblox video. And there's a great video that'll come up that'll really walk you through setting some of those parental controls. But as you can see with the story that's unfolding, it's not enough.
Right.
And there's a lot of public outcry right now about what needs to be fixed, or should it just go away completely?
Yeah, so the story as it goes online is there's a young man, 22 years old, by the name of Real Schlepp. He was groomed himself, according to the India Times, by a Roblox developer, and it radicalized him. So he's been on a mission to out child predators on the platform. And in the midst of outing child predators, Roblox has banned him.
Right.
How does that make any sense?
Well, Roblox is using some excuse, really, of they're trying to crack down on vigilantes. So people who are taking matters into their own hands. And there's quite a bit of lots of the developers and the people who have good intentions are really backing up the reason why vigilantes exist by saying, if you guys were doing your job to keep kids safe, if some of these safety settings were actually by default, if you made age verification an actual thing instead of, oh, what age do I want to be on today, we wouldn't have these problems. So the developers who have a good conscience, who are trying to combat pedophilia on this platform, they have been left to try to clean it up themselves. And you're right, this young man, he was radicalized because of his experience, and he came out today or yesterday with an official statement talking about how he was groomed and even attempted suicide and was hospitalized as a teenager, and reached out to Roblox. His mom, threatened legal action, and it took years for the groomer to be banned from Roblox. And that groomer, by the way, was an official developer. That groomer who victimized Schlep back, many years ago, was somebody who was part of the brand extension of Roblox, had merch with Roblox. So this is not a problem with just like bad actors, rogue people that can't quite get their hand. These are actually the people that they are helping to monetize and pay for their life.
This is, I mean, it's awful. Like the way you see this is like, okay, if you want your kids to play video games, how about an N64? I mean, seriously, what can we do as parents? I mean, a lot of times you can't put the genie back in the bottle, right?
Right.
So if you already have a kid using Roblox, what kind of steps can we take to make it safer?
Well, like I mentioned, there are some great steps by, trusted resources like Bark, like Protect Young Eyes, like Parent ProTech, Cyber Farida. Look up any of those people, and they're going to walk you through what is available to lock down some things. But ultimately, I think we have to ask, is it worth it to really be putting our kids in a place where, those safety settings, some of them are new, some of them have existed. There's more stuff coming. There's a party chat coming to kids between 13 and 18. So I think we have to remember that this company does not have our kids' best interest in mind. They're trying to retrofit safety solutions based on a business model where predators can easily find children and, exchange fit photos with them, get them onto other platforms. There have been kids who have been kidnapped. There's currently, the Louisiana Attorney General is suing Roblox.
Yes.
And there are people saying there is a class action lawsuit coming because so many kids have been harmed. So even though, yes, there are some things that you can sort of Band-Aid it, unless you have, a teenager who is like, okay, you're trying to train them in the ways of digital safety.
Yep.
I just don't know that it's worth it. And I think as parents, a lot of us have to be willing to reverse put the truck in reverse and back out of some of these really dangerous platforms. And I think Roblox is chief number one on the chopping block right now.
Yeah. You mentioned the Attorney General of Louisiana, Liz Murrill. She is suing Roblox. She issued a statement, said, here's why I'm suing Roblox. They continue to facilitate and distribute child sex abuse material and sexual exploitation of Louisiana's children. Roblox fails to implement basic safety controls to protect child users from predators. Roblox knowingly and intentionally fails to provide notice to parents and its child users of its extreme dangers. And it created, curated, and perpetuated an online environment where child sex predators thrive, unite, hunt, and victimize our kids.
And make money doing it.
It's disgusting.
That's what we should really be concerned about.
Well, and like you said, there are safeguards. There are some good intentions with some developers, but you see games like the XYZ public bathroom simulator hangout.
Right.
What on earth could that be for other than the sexualization of children? And the maturity level, while it was still available, was set to moderate. Can you tell me how that would be moderate?
Right. And it's just honestly too much for parents to get their arms around. Like, we're trying to do a good job raising kids who aren't addicted to screens.
Yep.
And there are so many battles to fight, even on content that is wholesome because it draws you in. So I think we have to start really triaging the kind of content that's coming into our kids' lives, and things that are wholesale dangerous or they present a really high risk. Just chop it off.
Delete
You've got other things that you need to focus on to get your kids so they have an executive function, so that they can like survive adolescence and know how to think on their own. So with all the battles that we're fighting to provide, online safety for our kids and help them grow, why would we intentionally go into a complete dumpster fire like Roblox? I just don't think it's worth it.
No, I completely agree with you. And like you said, there's so many battles to fight. I mean, we're starting the new school year. So you're going to be, your kids are going to be exposed to new influences, new texts, new apps. As a parent, when you're seeing this kind of stuff unfold, what are some red flags? What are some warning signs? And what are some danger areas that, like, hey, red alert, if your kid comes home using this app, we need to have a talk?
Well, I think the big challenge for parents is that there are, 1.8 million apps in the App Store. So there is going to be a new app literally every day.
Yep.
And you're going to have to put some information streams into your pathway. So meaning you're signing up for emails from Parents Who Fight, or following organizations online wherever you are that are talking about the things that are current. Because today it could be this and tomorrow it could be that. But there's the kingpins like Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, and a lot of parents don't even know when their kids have that. I go into parents' homes and I evaluate their safety settings. I evaluate their devices. And when we go to apps, parents don't even realize that kids can like hide apps. They don't even know how to look for that. So I think the first thing is locking up your app store. That is job number one for a parent. I don't think any person under the age of 16 needs the app store all the time. Think of it like this is the mall. We're going to lock it. You can't just go there whenever you want. Okay.
Yep.
So number one, lock up your app store. Number two, make sure that you have permissions set so that any app can't just sneak onto the phone. That way, if an app request comes, you can evaluate it. You can go to our website. You can go to Bark's website. You can see what is being talked about with this app. What are the risks? What are the challenges before you approve something? So that's the biggest thing, is we've got to lock some of those doors. And then when kids are coming home and they're hearing about stuff from other kids, they are going to want things that maybe have some dangers that are hidden in them. And your child might not be trying to be so nefarious. So open and honest conversations with them, being like, hey, I saw this app called Lemonade. Do you know anything about that? Do your friends use it? There are so many apps that you're not going to be able to get your arms around all of them. But if you put yourself in the streams of people who are talking about this stuff, you can initiate a conversation and find out from your kid what they know about, what they're curious about, what their friends are using. So those are some foundational things before you even get to which apps parents should be looking for.
I think that's some great advice. Now, for me and my wife, we kind of have talks with other parents, and we're like, okay, none of us are doing cell phones. Like we're not. Like we got a Bark watch. She can text mom and dad. That's tops. That's for my 11-year-old.
Perfect.
Now,
yeah.
But for other parents who are nervous, like, I don't want my kid to be the weird kid and not have any access to technology, what advice would you give them?
I think it depends on their age. What we would encourage parents is to really evaluate some of the research that's come out over the past year and a half about how puberty is impacted by addictive apps. So of course, that's going to include social media. That's going to include YouTube. That's going to include video games. And as much as you can, I would delay addictive media through puberty. So for boys and girls, it's slightly different. You're talking like 14, maybe 15, and really delaying that smartphone, because now there's all these great options that are smartphone like, the Bark phone is one of them. There's Gab, there's Pinwheel, there's TrueMe. So there are lots of options now. And as your kid approaches that golden age of 16, that's where we're saying, okay, you're starting your executive function, you can get a license. You're starting to work, maybe. You're looking for scholarships for college. You're exploring what kinds of things you want to do. You might be taking dual enrollment classes already.
Yeah.
So we want to give our kids some access to help them grow, but really not turning things over until they're like, 15, 16 years old. And I think now, as opposed to even a year or two ago, we have so many more people who are considering going in reverse. So find partners just like you have.
Yep.
You have your friends are like, we're all doing this. And as they get older, let's talk about it. I had a mom reach out to me who was like, my daughter's really responsible. I had met her daughter. I completely agree. She said she went to this great Christian camp. She wants to stay connected with friends. They're using Be Real. This daughter is 16 years old. She's asking me, what do you think? I'm like, you know what? You can lock down how much time she spends on it. You can evaluate, and you have a strong enough relationship with her that you can start there. And you can say, hey, in 30, 60, 90 days, we're going to reevaluate. We're going to talk about how did this go and see, can you continue? Is this something that you feel good about, that we feel good about? So we're not about shutting everything down, but certainly about gradual access. So not everything at once and not everything during puberty.
Well, I love the advice, and you guys are chock full of it. We're talking with Sarah Siegand over at Parents Who Fight. How can people get in touch with you guys? How can they keep up with what you're doing so that way they can keep their kids safe online, Sarah?
Yeah, parentswhofight.com is our website, and we post pretty much daily on Instagram, and we're really echoing all of the good people out there who are talking about how to keep your kids safe. So you're going to see posts from us that are sharing stuff from Bark. You're going to see stuff from us that's sharing stuff from Parent Protect and Family IT Guide. There's so many parents who are in this fight now. So online, reach out to us on our website or on Instagram.
ParentsWhoFight.com. Sarah Siegand, thank you again for the time, for the explanation, and for the advice. We really, really appreciate you. ParentsWhoFight.com is an incredible resource. If you got kids or you're raising grandkids, definitely go there, check it out, dive in, and get yourself acquainted with it. Sarah, again, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, Chris.
It's 10:54. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did you see this lunatic?
What's wrong with me? Oh,
right.
hey, smile for the camera, you little Nazi
That's
bitch.
enough.
Kill all Nazis. We won World War II. Fuck you. Kill all Nazis.
So that is a crazed leftist yelling at a Republican and calling him Nazis. When will the Democrats understand calling Republicans Nazis is anti-Semitic? Because when you do that, what you're doing is sanitizing what Adolf Hitler and the Nazis did. That, my friends, is anti-Semitic.
Kill all Nazis. We won World War II. Fuck you. Kill all Nazis.
It's 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Looks like we're going to get pretty warm this weekend. Getting back into the triple-digit territory. Got the full forecast coming up for you here in just 5 minutes. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin en route to Alaska today for their face-to-face meeting to discuss, among other topics, a possible ceasefire with Ukraine. Lead Heritage Foundation National and Homeland Security Analyst Steve Bucci tells WTN's Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis.
President Trump is used to walking into a room, having a quick conversation, shaking a hand, looking at somebody in the eye and deciding, is this person serious about doing business or is he just, trying to feel things out? I don't have time for that. Let's go. And he'll leave, literally. He is not bound by traditional diplomatic protocols or anything else. In fact, he seems to take great joy in blowing those things away because in a lot of cases, it's a lot of history and not a lot of sense.
Yeah, President Trump told reporters that Russian drone and missile strikes on the eve of the meeting do not strengthen Putin's position. Ginger Z is tracking Hurricane Erin for us.
By Wednesday morning, it's still well east of Florida, so this is staying offshore for everyone, but there will be impacts because the outer bands are going to reach pretty far. Starting Saturday afternoon on the southeastern shore up to, say, Fajardo in Puerto Rico. The Sunday 8 a.m., we still have some bands coming through, so overall 2 to 4 inches, but locally up to 6, some gusts up to 45 miles per hour when those bands come through. Dominican Republic, too, but again, nothing the tropics can't handle.
Yeah, with Category 1 winds, this is the first named hurricane of the Atlantic season. Here in Nashville, a lawsuit's been filed over the ICE operation in May when roughly 200 people were arrested. The Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, or Turks, claims Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security violated those people's rights. Here's News 2's Haley Wilgus.
Turk says that they have asked the State Highway Patrol for documents and body camera video from the operation. The lawsuit claims THP has either denied the documents exist, redacted unnecessary information, or simply denied the request.
Yeah, the state has not responded to the lawsuit as of now. Another lawsuit against the Trump administration.
D.C.'s Attorney General accuses the U.S. Attorney General of trying to unlawfully sideline the city's police chief. Pam Bondi's Thursday night order says the department's chain of command can't make any decisions without the approval of DEA Administrator Terry Cole, who's been tapped as the department's emergency federal commissioner. But D.C.'s lawsuit says there's nothing in the law that allows for that. The Home Rule Act says for up to 30 days, the president may direct the mayor to provide police services for federal purposes.
New retail sales numbers are in from the Commerce Department. They were up by 0.5 percentage point in July. It follows a nearly 1% increase in June. Spending had slowed drastically in April and May following President Trump's tariff announcement, but consumers are returning to stores. One exception, electronics. Sales were down by more than 0.5%. The biggest increase in July came in auto sales. They were up by more than 1.5%. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name's Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Thank you again to Sarah Siegand from Parents Who Fight, parentswhofight.com, for joining us to break down the Roblox controversy. We're going to be isolating that video and putting it up on the YouTube channel. That way you can share it in its entirety with any friends, any aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, anybody that has a kid who may or may not be using Roblox. It takes a village, man. It takes a village. And with a lot of this stuff, you blink and you miss it. You know, it's crazy. It's heartbreaking. And then you turn around like months later, and you're like, what the hell happened to my kid? What happened? And it's like, well, they've been getting groomed in an online marketplace. And it's like sad. But how many stories have we heard like that? Too many. Again, the Attorney General of Louisiana, Liz Murrill, is suing Roblox. And that's a huge positive development. This part of the story was just breaking yesterday.
So they've chosen profits over child safety. It's basically open season for sex predators on this app. For this reason and all of the others that we've talked about today, Roblox is violating Louisiana law. And that's why we filed this lawsuit.
Thank you. This was posted on the Office of the Attorney General, Liz Murrill, her website, her Twitter account, and we are just so grateful that we have some patriots out there that are looking out for kids. Maybe we can step in and join this lawsuit here in Tennessee. We know Skermetti is really good at what he does, so maybe we can get in on the bandwagon. But shout out to the Attorney General out of Louisiana for suing this. Thank you again to Parents Who Fight, parentswhofight.com. Sarah Segan, her and her husband run that. They're a fantastic resource for you. If you got young kids in your family, you're not sure where to begin, start at parentswhofight.com. Just good people looking out for the kids. Huge stuff. Ken's wearing a really nice shirt today. Everybody in the YouTube chat's talking about Ken Weaver's shirt. If you're watching us on Super Talk TV, you'll see he looks good, you guys.
Thank you, everybody. Checks will be in the mail. I just can't say when.
You look sharp. Will you tell the FM audience what your shirt says, Ken Weaver?
This shirt says, I just cover the news, boys.
So good.
I love it.
This is from one of our listeners, Samuel, who made me this shirt a couple of years ago. So thank you, Samuel. I love it. And it's even got my name on the back.
That's cool. We have the best listeners.
We do, man.
We do. Shout out to everybody listening to the show, wherever you're listening, whether you're on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or the FM dial, or you're watching us on Super Talk TV or Rumble or YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate it when you do so. There's a lot to get to, not a lot of time. I want to talk about the California redistricting that was announced yesterday. Gavin Newsom, he's been putting out deadlines. You got it. Trump, he always chickens out. You better stop the Texas redistricting or I'm going to redistrict so hard. And yesterday he said we're redistricting big time. He's going to have a special election in November. And he said that the ballot will be asking Californians to provide a temporary pathway for congressional maps. He said we will affirm our commitment to the state independent redistricting after the 2030 census, but we're asking the voters for their consent to do midterm redistricting in 2026, 2028, and 2030 for the congressional maps to respond to what's happening in Texas, to respond to what Trump is trying to excite. He's so salty. He's so salty in so many ways. I'm not going to get upset about California redistricting. I feel like that would be a bit hypocritical, to be honest with you, because I think that we shouldn't be upset about Texas redistricting. So have at it. The only thing that I ask is that more conservative states say, screw you guys, we're going to do it too. Let's get as many conservative seats as we can before the midterms. Let's redistrict harder. The fun fact is, with gerrymandering, most of these liberal states have already done it ad nauseum and can't do it any further. Massachusetts, they tried to launch a bit of a campaign saying we're going to redistrict so hard, and it was like you guys have zero Republican representation, so you can't really redistrict any more than you already have, right? You have 40% of your voters are Republican, 0% representation. So there's that. Now, while Gavin Newsom was doing this press conference, he was very upset. He's very, very upset. There was an ICE raid going on outside. We'll talk about that momentarily. It was one of the most fun things I've ever seen. It was poetry, and it broke the left. It broke Gavin Newsom. It broke Mayor Karen Bass. It broke Adam Shifty Schiff. It broke them completely. But Gavin Newsom, he was broken walking into that place because Donald Trump, the orange man, he's running for a third term. I was as shocked as you are to hear this. But Gavin Newsom said, buckle up, Buttercup. It's happening.
Moment to wake up, America. Wake up. You will not have a country if he rigs this election. You will have a president who will be running for a third term.
So
You'll have a president who will be running for a third term. That's Gavin Newsom. Well, okay, well, why is he going to be running for a third term? I mean, we do a little bit of trolling. We like to call it a little bit of trolling. Trump 2028. Yeah, it's a little troll. I don't think he's actually running for a third term. Gavin Newsom says otherwise. He says, actually, I got a hat in the mail. Well, wait. You're convinced that Donald Trump is running for a third term because you got a hat in the mail? Yep. Oh, and he's as serious as a heart attack about it.
I wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around.
Trump 2028. Who says no? These guys are not screwing around. They're not playing games. Like it's called trolling. We're trolling you. And you're so salty about it, so butthurt.
They still haven't learned what happened, have they?
No. It's beautiful. It's called we do a little bit of trolling, but Gavin doesn't understand. One of his biggest supporters sent me it. You guys understand.
Really?
This is happening. That's what he said, the Trump 2028 hat.
He'll be running for a third term. Mark my word. I wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around.
No, we're not. Listen, with the modern advances in science, who says no to Trump 2032? Trump 2036. Trump 2040.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he could, with what, the medical that he has access to, the robot lasers, the Neuralink. Who's to say that Donald Trump doesn't live to 150, 200 years old? I think that's easy, right? I think we could do that. I think we could do It's so funny. Now, during his little presser, ICE was outside the building. And ICE was outside to send a clear message that they're not backing down, they're doubling down. And Gavin, he had a room full of about, 36 people. And they did the angle on the cameras to make it look like it was a full room. It was not a full room. And most California voters don't support this anyway. But he's in there giving his little speech. He's giving a little speech. And he says, do you know what's happening outside? The Gestapo. The Gestapo is disappearing people outside.
And right outside, at this exact moment, are dozens and dozens of ICE agents.
Shame.
Donald Trump, you think it's coincidental?
No.
Donald Trump and his minions, Tom Homan, tough guy.
Tom Homan would beat the brakes off Gavin Newsom. Like, if we got them into, they're going to do the UFC fighting on the White House lawn?
For
the 250th birthday? Imagine if you want to call Tom Homan a tough guy? Imagine Homan versus Newsom.
Wild.
You want to call Tom Homan a tough guy and insult? He would beat the brakes off of you.
What's wild is I think he could do that, and then I think he could also beat him in a debate.
He could beat the brakes off of him while answering questions from reporters.
And he would mess up his hair.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Tom Homan. I would pay a year's salary to watch that. My wife would be very upset with me. Like, we're broke. I'd be like, it's worth it. It's worth it. Tom Homan. Known tough guy.
Homan, tough guy. Crowley decided, coincidentally or not, that this was a location to advance ICE arrests.
Yeah. Coincidentally or not. Now again, fun fact. If you're watching on the stream, you're gonna see this in real time because we have all the video for all the audio you hear. But there's a camera angle that leaked out of this rally, and it's an empty room. It is completely blocked off by a huge black curtain. There's only 3 sections. How many people would you think it sitting in that area? Let's be honest, probably 100 people.
Yeah, right around maybe at most 120.
Probably 100 people sitting there in the audience, and I would say 30 members of the media. You probably couldn't even you probably didn't even reach 200 people with the media included for this press conference. So soft. He can't even draw a crowd in his own state. Again, the majority of of Californians don't support the redistricting. It's about 65% say this is just a waste of time. And we shouldn't be doing this. Now, inside the venue, very small, very, very low T, just for the record. Tennessee Men's Clinic, whatever you need, go find it. But outside this rally, we had ICE. And I don't know, it looked to me like there were more ICE agents than there were Democrat supporters. This is what it sounded like outside that rally.
Arrived just outside of the downtown LA venue where Governor Gavin Newsom was actually holding a press conference today. And it appears that those Border Patrol agents are making arrests, illegal immigrants that I don't know if they were at this press conference, if they were in the area, but this is a very, as John put it when we first saw this video, a very in-your-face way to let, Democrats know that you are going to do your job, that you're going to carry out these Trump policies. Can you just respond to this video that we're watching?
I mean, it really is amazing. Now, Tom Homan, the tough guy, Tom Homan, he said he was going to flood the zone. You want to be a sanctuary city. You want to continue these policies that are hurting Americans, hurting our great cities, hurting our great states. Like, believe it or not, California is a beautiful place. It's being ruined. The elected officials don't give a damn about the American citizens that are living there. Tom Homan said, if you want to keep these policies up, we're going to flood the zone. And that's exactly what we're seeing in real time. And in real time, cue the outrage. Mayor Karen Bass is so butthurt about this. Did you see her reacting outside the press conference? Now, she looks like a Batman villain. I'll just be perfectly honest with you. And I heard Nashville's Morning News talking about this. Never trust somebody who smiles when they're angry. Karen Bass smiles when she's angry. But she's reacting to the raid that happened outside that presser with Gavin Newsom, where they did arrest some illegal aliens. This is how Karen Bass, what she thought of it.
Not believe that this just happened to be a coincidence.
There is no way this was a coincidence. This was widely publicized that the governor and many of our other elected officials were having a press conference here to talk about redistricting, and they decided they were going to come and thumb their nose in front of the governor's face. Why would you do that? That is unbelievably disrespectful. It's a provocative act. They're talking about disorder in Los Angeles, and they are the source of the disorder in Los Angeles right now. This is just completely unacceptable. This is a administration, this is a Customs and Border Patrol that has gone amok. This absolutely has to stop. There was no danger here. There was no need to detain anyone here. And there was certainly no need to have a provocative act right here where the governor is having a press conference.
Ah, so salty, so angry. So angry. Why are these leftists so angry? Anybody? They're all just so upset. There's no reason to do this. Well, actually, your sanctuary city policies are allowing illegal aliens to run amok. There's no disorder here. The only disorder is from the Trump administration. Got it. They did. They arrested an illegal alien outside there. Beautiful. And the salt, the outrage from the left, worth it. Absolutely. You're watching in real time Donald Trump and his administration break these leftists. Just you're if you watched it on the stream, you see Karen Bass having a mental breakdown about this. And sorry, guys, the raids will continue until morale improves. Adam Schiff was also at that presser. Yeah, Adam Shifty Schiff. He's got issues. Leaking classified information. All the dirty secrets are coming out. And he thought that he was dunking on Donald Trump during this presser. Let's listen to Adam Schiff.
He doesn't give a rat's ass about you. Not in California, not in Texas. He only cares about himself. It is his underlying corruption that is responsible for the reason why you are struggling hard to make a living. And we are going to fight back. We're going to make sure that here in California, your vote matters.
He said, wait. He said Donald Trump is the reason that you're struggling to make a living in California? Is that what he said? He blames Cali's problems on Donald Trump. Adam Schiff has been in Congress since 2013. Trump has been president for 7 months now in the second term. Let's give him 4 years of the first term. And I feel like that's being generous. So like 4.5-ish years, right? 2 of those years hamstrung by a fake Russia investigation that Adam Schiff pushed, okay? So let's just for the thought exercise. You've been in Congress since 2013. You're blaming Californians' issues on, making it on Donald Trump. You've been in Congress since 2013. Since then, only about 4.5-ish years has Donald Trump been in power. So what about the other 8.5 years? Why didn't he fix any of those problems for Californians any of those other years? I don't know. It's weird.
If they're going to play with fire, we're going to fight fire with fire. And let me just say this to quote our wonderful governor, Donald Trump, thank you for your attention to this matter.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for this guy to be outfitted with some silver bracelets, right? I hope they get him first. I pray they get him first. It's 11:23. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Are Democrats waking up to the fact that 80-20 issues aren't exactly a good look to defend?
To the average person, the murder up's about life and death. You don't brag about a rising murder rate. And the Democrats are, I agree with you, Mika, they're falling into the trap of defending what's indefensible.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Yes, it's a trap. I mean, if it's not a winner politically.
I mean, I think she's right. It is a bit of a trap to root for these 80-20 issues, men and women's sports, boys in girls' locker rooms.
No, that's not 80-20. That's 97-3.
Fair. That's 97-3. But we also have illegal alien gang member, MS-13 members, Kilmar. Democrats defend him. We've seen Democrats rooting for a recession. All these 80-20 issues, and this is what made the Democrats realize it? How long until they forget again? Few hours, tops.
All right, drivers, Williamson County, we've got a crash blocking the left lane of 840 westbound just past Pinewood Road, Highway 46, exit 14. Hear what a Nashville-based group working to educate parents about online dangers kids face every day have to say about the new lawsuit against Roblox. That and more coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. You guys on the phone lines and the text line, 615-737-9986. I'm reading your text. Hilarious. BetterWater.com sponsors the show. You need a water filter system? You go to BetterWater.com. So many texts are asking me for Gavin Newsom's address because they want to continue sending him Trump 2028 hats. Like I have 100 texts. I have 100 texts. They say let's send all the Trump 2028 hats to Gavin Newsom. So I got it for you just in case you wanted it. The governor's mansion is at 1526 H Street, Sacramento, California. 1526 H Street, Sacramento, California.
Nice.
I only can assume that the H stands for hellhole. What? So send your Trump 2028 hats there. That's where they need to go. Gavin Newsom is just melting down. Trump's running for a third term. I guarantee it. Sign me up. You don't have to sell me on him. I'd vote for him already. But now I see how salty you're getting. I'm really in. In case you missed it, this is Gavin Newsom yesterday, just warning everyone that Trump is a dictator. Trump wants to be king. Trump 2028.
Wake up, America. Wake up. You will not have a country if he rigs this election. You will have a president who will be running for a third term. Mark my word. I wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat.
If you want to send your own Trump 2028 hat to Gavin Newsom.
You know what's so sad, man, is there are so many people on the left who heard him say that, and they are losing their minds.
Oh, yeah.
They're terrified.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Like I said, I don't think we should stop at Trump 2028 hats. I think that you need Trump 2032. We need to send him a Trump 2036, a Trump 20 forever. That's what we need.
I think they ought to just send one that says 2026.
Yeah.
That'll freak people out because it's in the middle of his term.
What does this even mean?
What?
Let's go to Steve on the road. What's up, Steven?
Hey, Chris. Hey, man. Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, this Gavin Newsom, man, is really thinks he's got something going here. But you know what I think is going to happen is we're pretty much cleaning up everything right now as far as the illegals go. And California wants to claim that they're a sanctuary state, but they can't stop ICE from coming in and doing their job. Yep. But it's getting difficult. So here's what I think should happen. So here's a solution. So in the end, once we get all the rest of the states, the majority of the illegals and cleaned out and shipped off to the gulags, it's kind of going to be stronghold is going to be California. They're going to be standalone against the rest of the country. So then, with all the new ICE agents that we've brought in, if we can put a couple facilities, one at the north end of California, right on the border somewhere, one at the southern end of California, right on the border, and we just go in there full speed, and just grab and nab and get as many of those guys and illegals out of there that we can. They won't be able to redistrict because that's what their redistricting is counting on.
100%.
Illegals that are in their state.
That's why Trump wants a new census, and I appreciate the call. That's why Trump wants a new census. You can't be counting illegal aliens in the census. This is what a lot of this fight is over. I love all of this. I love how mad Gavin Newsom is. Trump 2028 and beyond, by all means. It's so good. It's so funny on so many levels. Hey, on the way, we get the lightning round on deck. Anything you want to weigh in on, you are more than welcome to. 615-737-9986. It's 11:32. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin on their way to Alaska for that face-to-face to talk about the Ukraine war. Heritage Foundation National and Homeland Security lead analyst Stephen Bucci telling WTN's Nashville's Morning News what he thinks Trump will do the minute they sit down.
He's being serious, and I have a feeling, there's not going to be a lot of drinking tea and smiling at each other before things start hitting the table as far as we need you to do this, we need you to do that. And, Putin's responses to those will be very telling and will probably come early in this meeting.
Yeah, we'll be here to update you. Roblox is free to use and immensely popular with kids and teens who make up a big chunk of hundreds of millions of monthly users. But Louisiana's Attorney General says Roblox prioritizes this growth and revenue over your child's safety. Liz Merrill filed a lawsuit yesterday in Louisiana, says ultimately Roblox should be shut down. Same, says Sarah Segan of Nashville-based ParentsWhoFight.com, who tells WTN's Chris Hanshow.
For any parent who's under a rock somewhere, this platform really prizes itself as one of the leaders in user-generated content. So that means they have like 118 million users, and any of those people can create games inside their platform. So there's like estimates of 40 million experiences within Roblox. I've seen some as low as 8.
Roblox says it has a zero tolerance policy for the exploitation of minors, but has not yet responded to this lawsuit. All eyes on the season's first name hurricane.
For Puerto Rico, we are expecting that rain to be coming in starting tomorrow on Saturday, continue off and on into Sunday. This is Sunday morning, 8 a.m. They're just on the very outer bands of this hurricane. And then as we head into your day on Monday, it's going to start to dry out in Puerto Rico, but they are going to have large waves there. They're also going to have some dangerous rip currents there as well, and they could see about 2 to 4 inches worth of rain.
That's ABC News meteorologist Kenton Gawecki. And that's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. I love these guys, and it is back to school season, and Busy Bee is bringing the buzz with some big savings and sweet giveaways. If you got some septic issues, don't wait. Should have called them yesterday. But right now, you can get 15% off any septic work, main drain lines, or whole home repipes just in time for the new school year. How about this? Upgrade your HVAC system, and you're going to be automatically entered to win the Healthy Hive giveaway. That's a $1,500 sponsorship to the local school of your choice. Now, the school's got to be within the listening area, but we hear so often teachers buying school supplies out of their own pocket. Imagine if you could give them $1,500. That would really move the needle. How about a gift that's sweeter than a red apple? You buy a Beehive Club membership, you can give one to the coach, faculty member, or teacher of your choice at your school for free. That's going to grease the wheels, man, for a good school year. That's Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Give them a call today. Take advantage of these deals. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. And you can always find them online. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
11:39, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We've been laughing about Gavin Newsom. He said Trump is running for a third term. They sent me a Trump 2028 hat. These guys aren't playing around. Somebody sent me a meme during the break. You see the meme? It's Barron looking over Donald's shoulder in the Oval Office, right? Hey, put it on the screen for me. He's looking over Trump's shoulder while Trump is on the computer. And it says, send him a Trump 2028 hat. Trust me.
That's
Trust
so
me, Father.
good.
Trust me. So good. A lot of people want to weigh in, but we're going to take your hot takes right now because this, my friends, is the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Yeah, we do it every day at this time. It's the lightning round, baby, where we run through all the stories we didn't have a chance to talk about, all the stories that wouldn't fill a segment, and we give you an opportunity for hot takes or cold takes, depending on what you're in the mood for. 615-737-9986. This is the lightning round. All right, let's start with some hot takes. Brian in Thompson Station with a hot take on Gavin Newsom. What's up, Brian?
Hey, Chris. Good morning. So, once again, the Democrats are accusing us of doing what they're doing because Biden's term was Obama's third.
Yes, nailed it. Yep, 100%. Send him a 2028 hat. I appreciate it. Let's go to Steve on the road. Hot take, Steve. What do you got?
Hey, Chris. Thanks for having me on. I just wanted to make a suggestion. Why don't WTN get together and organize a hat drive to send him as many hats as we can from the area? That way we get a better deal on the cost of the hats and also save on postage.
Dude, I love that idea. We actually, but maybe this is a little inside baseball. I appreciate the call, Steve. We do have an event coming up. We haven't announced it yet. We're in the planning stages. And what does Murphy call him? New suit? Yep. Paul, he said to me, we need a hook. So we don't have a debate. We don't have an election party. What's the hook? I think we just found our hook, boys. I think it's a hat drive for Gavin Newsom.
Bro, that'd be so cool.
Trump 2028. Who says no? 615-737-9986. If you want to join the lightning round with a hot take, 615-737-9986. I got a story for you here in the lightning round. There it is. Sometimes you see the storm off in the distance before it hits.
I was hovering over a different one that we made yesterday.
Oh, were you? What was the one we made yesterday?
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, I love it. It's so good. So good. All right. So Donald Trump yesterday, we talked about this a little bit with our White House reporter, Monica Page. But yesterday, he was talking about how many illegal aliens they've removed from the Social Security rolls. And it bewilders me because I was under the impression that this was one of those, what do they call them? Oh, yeah, right-wing conspiracy theories.
Last month, I signed one big, beautiful bill and allowed no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, okay? So how's that? Not bad, right?
Not bad.
No tax on Social Security for our seniors. And to protect our benefits, we've already kicked nearly 275,000 illegal aliens off of the Social Security system. These are people, many of them have already left the country, and yet we were sending them checks all the time.
Oh.
And 275,000, and that number is now even larger than that, Frank. It's an unbelievable job. And what that's doing is making the system strong. It's making it strong. Biden never kicked anybody off. Everybody joined. And we're carrying out historic deportations to remove many more illegals committing Social Security fraud. It's the Social Security fraud that was taking place at levels that nobody's ever seen.
275,000 illegal aliens removed from Social Security. Again, we were told that this was a right-wing conspiracy theory. We were told to take our tinfoil hats off. Nobody's doing it. Chill out, guys. Chill out. But no, 275,000. That's the number that they're presenting. They're saying it's an even bigger number now, but I did some math. I mathed out the math. You ready for the math? So I went in, I'm talking to Grok. So, yo, Grok, what's up, man? I said, what's the minimum? What's the minimum payment somebody gets on Social Security? Let's start at the floor. The minimum payment that you can get in 2025 for a Social Security check is $50. Okay? $50. It's like 50 and change, but whatever. $50. Just makes the math easy. So I gamed it out. 275,000 illegal aliens receiving $50 a month would equal $13.75 million a month. Okay? That's if they're receiving the minimum. You game that out over a year, that's $165 million. So at minimum, at the floor, at the very bottom, Donald Trump, by removing 275,000 illegal aliens from the Social Security rolls, is saving the American people $165 million. Okay? That is the bare minimum that is being saved. Now, let's game it out a little bit more. Let's do the average. What's the average amount that a Social Security recipient receives in America? It's $1,976. You game that out over 275,000 illegal aliens, that would be $543.4 million per month. That's if they're all receiving the average. You game that out over a year, that's $6,520 million. Wow. That's a lot of money for a right-wing conspiracy theory, don't you think, boys?
But that's just a theory.
It's just a theory.
Just a theory.
And yeah, it could be worse. Could be worse.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing math there because I was like, that's enough.
That's enough hurt brain. Too much.
I don't need to do it. But then he started talking about removing dead people from the rolls. And if you think removing 275,000 illegal aliens from the Social Security rolls is a lot, wait until you hear how many 120-year-olds were removed from Social Security.
We cleared 12.4 million names listed in the Social Security database over 120 years of age. Think of that. So we had 12.4 million names where they were over 120 years old. Is that right? That's a hell of a statement. I have a feeling, Dan, that's not really that really didn't happen, did it? So you have 12.4 million names listed in the Social Security database that were over 120 years of age, meaning you were breaking records, because I've never heard of anybody at 125. There were nearly 135,000 people listed who were over 160 years old, and in some cases getting payments. So somebody's getting those payments, and we're after that.
Good. Listen, for a long time on this radio station, I've made the statement that I don't view getting a Social Security check as a realistic possibility. I'm 37 years old. Given the state of the economy, the national debt that we have, the insolvency that is just we're staring down the barrel of, I didn't see a realistic way that I would ever get Social Security. But when you see what they're clearing off of the Social Security payments, maybe we do. Maybe, Mason, maybe we get Social Security.
My hopes are going up.
They're going up. They're not super high.
Not yet.
But they're a little bit better. Like when he went, there was 12.8 million people over 120. Is that right? It's like, what? It reminded me of the Tucker Carlson. Is that right? What?
He's so good.
What?
It's so good.
We cleared 12.4 million names listed in the Social Security database over 120 years of age. Think of that. So we had 12.4 million names where they were over 120 years old. Is that right?
Is that right? It very much channels his inner Tucker there. I got another story for you here in the lightning round. Mason's on the phone, so the lightning will be delayed. But I'm just gonna keep poking the bear until Mason hits the lightning, because Mason is very distracted because he's answering all the phones. But we need lightning in the lightning round. There it is. I think he wants to give me the middle finger, but he's holding back. He's a good Christian. He's not going to act on those urges.
Try not to.
All right. This is another story for the lightning round. Elizabeth Warren, you may know her as Pocahontas. Donald Trump demanding she take a drug test. Yes, this happened yesterday in the Oval Office. Donald Trump on Elizabeth Warren.
So vicious what they do. Elizabeth Warren said she was an Indian. We call her Pocahontas. She's a liar. She lied her whole career. Based on the fact that she was an Indian, she was able to get into certain colleges, get certain jobs, get into certain universities to work there. She's a liar and a mean person. She's a nut job. I watched her the other night. She's all hopped up endorsing a communist in New York City. And she was all excited and jumping up and down. She's got to take a drug test. She really does. She's got to take a drug test. There's no way somebody can act that way and be normal. What she's done to our financial institutions, she destroys people.
No way somebody could not be on drugs and act that way.
Oh, my gosh.
She's got to take a drug test, Ken. We're demanding it. Low-key, the most based thing in that entire clip is how he says Indian and not Native American. It's just, it's so good. So good. Let's one more time.
So vicious what they do. Elizabeth Warren said she was an Indian. We call her Pocahontas. She's a liar. She lied her whole career. Based on the fact that she was an Indian, she was able to get into certain colleges, get certain jobs, get into certain universities to work there. She's a liar and a mean person. She's a nut job.
She's an Indian giver, actually. She makes all these promises and then she takes them back.
I watched her the other night. She's all hopped up endorsing a communist in New York City. And she was all excited and jumping up and down. She's got to take a drug test. She really does. She's got to take a drug test. There's no way somebody can act that way and be normal.
Fact check true. I think we should be doing drug tests for every member of Congress, personally.
Absolutely.
If welfare recipients are going to need to take drug tests, so should members of Congress. If I got to take a drug test for my job, you got to take a drug test for your job, why on earth would these people who are hopping up and down like lunatics not have to be able to take drug tests?
Oh, wow.
It's good, right?
That was, we got to save that.
Oh, yeah, that's going in the archives for sure.
She was all excited and jumping up and down. She's got to take a drug test. She really does. She's got to take a drug test. There's no way somebody can act that way and be normal.
Fact check true. That does it for today's edition of the Lightning Round. It's 11:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll check in with Chad Benson next. See what's coming up on the Chad Benson Show right here on Super Talk. Now, before you ask, I definitely voted for this.
Okay. They didn't take Reese's on food stamps no more, no candy. So they went live when they said they're going to take out all the snacks. They're taking away all the snacks on EBT. What's the point of having it?
God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds.
Go on, get your butt to work if you want to get some fudge rounds. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
The Reese, they didn't take the Reese out. Food stamps is boring right now.
It's 11:57, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We were talking about Elizabeth Warren. She's jumping around.
She's excited for Mondani.
She needs a drug test. She does. That's what everybody's calling for, clamoring for. So, Trump in this clip, I mentioned it moments ago. Chad Benson's in the studio, by the way. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Gay Frogs, betterwater.com. So, low key, the most base thing in this clip is that he doesn't say Native American. He says Indian. And I love it.
So vicious what they do. Elizabeth Warren said she was an Indian. We call her Pocahontas. She's a liar. She lied her whole career. Based on the fact that she was an Indian, she was able to get into certain colleges, get certain jobs, get into certain universities to work there. She's a liar and a mean person. She's a nut job. I watched her the other night. She's all hopped up endorsing a communist in New York City. And she was all excited and jumping up and down. She's got to take a drug test. She really does. She's got to take a drug test. There's no way somebody can act that way and be normal.
Fact check true. He's so good.
She's so mean.
She's so mean.
And then he goes off about what a POS she is.
She's so mean. She's a nasty woman, a nut job.
Liawatha. Oh, my gosh.
I love it. I love it on so many different levels.
Oh, that's a nasty one. That's nasty.
Oh,
we call it, we do a little bit of trolling. That's what we do. We do a little bit of trolling.
Oh, man.
Trump 2028, besides Gavin Newsom, who says no?
To what?
Trump 2028.
Oh, yeah. God, that's insane.
One of his biggest supporters
Trump is
sent me
saying
a hat.
no.
So, you know, we were talking a new suit. We're going to be, and I don't even know if I should be saying this. We're going to be announcing an event soon. He said, we need a hook. And a listener came up with the best hook. We're going to do a Trump 2028 hat drive.
Oh, yeah.
For Gavin Newsom.
That'd be awesome.
And we'll get all the Trump 2028 hats. We'll get them in bulk. We'll get a good discount, and then we'll get a good shipping rate. And we'll send them to the governor's mansion in Sacramento.
That would be hilarious. You should totally do that.
How much time do you think Gavin Newsom spends in Sacramento?
He just bought that new house.
In Sacramento?
No, down in L.A., I think. It was like $15 million.
Does the governor of California ever stay in Sacramento?
Not much. Like the older governors did. But, like, Arnold didn't spend a lot of time up there. And I think the first little while he stayed up there, but, he's also in San Francisco. He had a house. I mean, it's Sacramento. And I love Sacramento, but, yeah, and nobody's staying there.
No, definitely not. What are you talking about on the show today?
Oh, Garth Brooks.
All right.
I'm serious. When do you guys hear this story? It's the latest new conspiracy theory. We'll talk a bit about that. Probably something. When are they're breaking for lunch? Are they going to have a conversation? Are we getting this thing done today?
I think so.
We're getting nothing done today.
Oh.
What can you get done? You can get a ceasefire, maybe.
The eternal pessimist, Chad Benson.
You can't give away his land.
Well, he's not. I don't think they're giving any land back.
No, but you can't give it away. You can't just say, hey, I negotiated all your land away for sure. They can't even do that, right?
I bet you they could.
But
Trump can do anything.
So, but for them to agree, they actually, in their constitution, everybody in Ukraine who's over 18 has to vote for the land, including the occupied areas.
We'll see what happens. 65% of the population wants this war done.
Yeah, that's the thing. And everybody's like, but they're unhappy about their land. Ask anybody. If somebody stole your stuff, would you be happy? No. I mean, are you happy somebody came and took all your stuff? No. Okay, we'll put that as a no.
Chad's in next. Yeah, he's going to take you through the day. He's going to give you all the updates on Russia, Ukraine, and President Trump.
Ceasefire.
Ceasefire? All right.
Can't get a deal without them.
Have a great family weekend. Enjoy the time. Separate from the news. And listen, also, keep your eye on Dan Mandis' socials. He may be going live tonight should the peace deal come through.
Really?
Yeah, he's ready. Dan's ready. Oh, and another episode of Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris drops tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Find us on YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe, all the things. 1202 Super Talk 99.7. This is me stalling to mess with Mason.